This is a topic that I've been ruminating on and developing for a lot of years. See, I got it down. And under some encouragement from Lori, decided to talk about it. So what's it mean when it's secret? Well, these little girls obviously have a secret that they're sharing, and that makes it special. Should be discreet. Doesn't always work that way. Working with hidden names or methods, too, so you got to be secret in that regard. Now, what do we mean by internal? Well, we mean that it's inside your head, okay? It's the kind of thing that you don't necessarily share openly. You don't understand all the elements of it. It just kind of is floating around in there. And what do we mean by economy? Well, an economy, obviously, is the way that things move for us in terms of distribution and production, services, things like money and more money. But basically, a lot of us are feeling this way about the economy. Took me a while to find one that wasn't obscene. So back in the old days, okay, no, not those old days, these old days, we didn't have things like ATM machines and internet cash transfer and all that sort of thing. We went on an entirely different system, and that system was the barter system. Okay, I'll give you a fish, you give me so much grain back. It works pretty well. Now that is going to give you an idea about what we're going to talk about. The barter system, though, is difficult if you're going in to pay your newspaper subscription and bring a chicken in. You've got to figure out, how many issues does a chicken. So let's say you make gumballs, okay, and you're great at making gumballs. You can do a whole bunch, and then it's time to buy a car. Well, the big magic question is, how many gumballs do you have to bring to buy a car? A lot, okay, a lot. The challenge, though, back in what happens in our heads, is that the barter system that we deal with other people, we don't necessarily talk about. We're kind of keeping track of this in our head, series of different things, because all relationships, whether they're business relationships or personal relationships, have a barter system. And that means that you're going to deal with things like debits and credits. Now, anybody that's been married knows this for sure. Anybody that has a business partner knows this for sure. So let's talk about some of these. The first is credit. What if you give somebody a chance? What if you give them a job, give them a hand up, something like that? That kind of builds currency in your relationship. Okay, you may have people that gave you a chance a long time ago, and they're still sort of trading on that. Okay? Now, you also have other things that are credits. For instance, if you give somebody a gift. Okay? Now, we've all had the experience of a really good gift given, whether it's a small one or whether it's a big one. We're all going to have to remember that. And when we deal with other people, we kind of keep that in the back of our mind. How about forgiving a offense? Okay? Whenever you forgive somebody that maybe doesn't deserve it, because that's the way it works, and we might even have to forgive these guys sometime. Not yet, huh? Okay, we'll pull that off. But forgiving an offense certainly has that. Now, what about a strategic advantage? What about something like having a position of power, trading on a position, that sort of thing? Anybody know the line? Repeat after me. It's good to be the king. All right? That's the way that works. So you can also build up credits just by position of power. Now, how about debits? If you are constantly late in a relationship, okay, then that is kind of accounted for. How about the chores? Okay, the dishes pile up. How about if the grass needs to be mowed? Not quite. And here's a picture of my kids doing the chores. Doesn't quite look like that. So this whole debit process, here's how it works. You've got two people. They're each thinking in their minds about this economy. But my guess is they're not thinking about it in the same way, okay? She might think about it in that stack, and he's thinking about it in that one, or vice versa, or whatever. So let's pretend you had a friend, and you borrowed $50 in 1993, okay? Never paid it back. My guess is every time you go out to lunch, you're going to be leaving a little bit more of the tip than him, just kind of to make up for that. You might want to do an analysis of that, because over that many years, it could not be in your interest. What if you fall in love with the same woman as your best friend in college, and it's wonderful, and he marries her? You know what that gets you? That gets you as much beer as you can drink for the next 30 years. Because he's going to be buying them just to make up for it, all right? Now, how about shoes? Ladies, okay, you got this wonderful pair of shoes, okay? I bought my wife a pair of these. They're awesome. They have this little picture on the bottom. It's very cool, okay? But let's say that your girlfriend borrows them, takes them out and completely messes them up. Dirt, the whole thing. You get to borrow her mascara for the rest of her life. was that? The secret eternal economy. I'm a guy. I couldn't come up with anything better. The secret internal economy is something that happens in all of our minds. We deal with it. We trade on it. There aren't any price tags, so be careful.